Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I gotta show you this before we get going. So far, I think they've loaded up Ripple after the Ripple announcement. I think they've loaded up Ripple private equity on Link2 twice, but watch this.
Hey, what's going on, family and friends? Ray Fuentes here, community manager at Link2. Dropping in on this beautiful morning, Thursday morning, to let you know that Link2 is going to be restocking the shelves with private shares in the company Ripple pre-IPO. So set your alarms for 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today, our third time restocking since the big news about the Ripple buyback. Now, I expect that we'll sell out in just a few minutes, just like we did yesterday and the day before. So please, don't let this opportunity pass you up. Friendly reminder, Link2 is offering these private shares of Ripple at an implied evaluation slightly greater than $7 billion, which is less than half of the evaluation Brad Garlinghouse recently announced for the company at $15 billion. So, you know the drill, ladies and gentlemen. Download our Link2 application today if you haven't so already, and pack your bags with the private shares of the company Ripple and enjoy the ride. Thank you for tuning in. Love you mucho. See ya.
Okay, so I think he said 12 o'clock Pacific. So that's 3 o'clock Eastern time. It's not on there. Let me do a refresh. It is not on there yet, but in the next few minutes, this is the way I understood that. Now, I had the pleasure of getting the president of iTrustCapital on today with me in a Zoom call, and I clipped out a couple of interesting clips. For those of you that don't have an iTrustCapital, and for those of you that do, Blake Skadron, who's the president over there, said this. Now, this, to me, when I first discovered iTrustCapital, it was a no-brainer. Listen to this.
We by far had the lowest fees at 1% trade fee with a $29.95 a month account fee. Now, that was great at the time, especially when competitors were still charging, 15% of one's entire retirement account just to get started. That was, mind blowing to the space. Since then, at scale, things have changed, and our goal for a long time was to remove it and expand and really make it more accessible for people, even with smaller dollar amounts, so that the math made sense for them to have an account with us. So that was in the works for a long time. And yeah, I believe we did it in November, pulled that out completely without sacrificing anything for clients. Assets are still stored institutionally with Coinbase custody and Fireblocks.
Well, here, Blake, a lot of people may or may not know this, but I'll brag on you for a second. When I first discovered you guys, I remember it like it was yesterday because I had already talked to some crypto IRA companies, and I won't name names or anything, but I'd talked to some, and they were literally charging 10 to 15% on the front end. So you give them 100,000, and now you have 85 or 90,000 to invest. And then I talked to you guys, and at the time you had the monthly fee, which you don't have now. And I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me I don't have to pay you any of that 10 to 15%, and then I've just got a small trading fee. And you're like, yep, that's about it.
Well, and that was the core, thought of why we started the company. My background is in alternative investments. I've been involved with precious metals for many, many years prior to cryptocurrency. So it was a natural progression for me. And when I wanted to go and put some of my retirement funds into an account to buy crypto, there was, in my opinion, absolutely not one good option. Nobody would I use. I certainly wouldn't recommend family or friends to. So that was the opportunity that, hey, this is a huge market that's not being serviced properly. And if whoever comes out and just offers a good product at a fair price, is going to do quite well.
So, and I got two other clips. This is a clip of Blake really talking about how much he appreciates the XRP community. Listen to this.
And we were still a pretty young and small company. And the XRP community, they built us, quite frankly. I mean, they supported us. There was no convincing of they understood the benefits of our platform with the product that they wanted to purchase. So it hurt us as much as it hurt investors when we were forced to take it down because our liquidity providers weren't going to offer it in the U.S. We all know why. We don't need to get into that. But I'd love nothing more than to be able to turn that back on and make a huge announcement on your show. We know what needs to happen. It's all based on the SEC lawsuits. So as soon as there is a resolution, hopefully very soon, I'm sure have plenty of insight on that. We are more than happy to turn it back on, and we're very grateful for the XRP community. And it pains me that we weren't able to find a way to leave it on, but that's just how these things work sometimes.
Right. Just makes you furious because there's no reason on this planet Earth that XRP should not be actively being traded on iTrustCapital versus all these other things, all these Ethereum tokens. You know all about the Ethereum story at this point. This is a travesty, and it's Jay Clayton and Gary Gensler. It's on you guys, and Bill Hinman and all you people. You engineered this, all of you. And and Gary Gensler, you're an active participant in this, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself because these investors that you don't give a rat's ass about protecting, that you claim to, they're sitting there with assets that are just sitting there on iTrustCapital's platform, and there's no reason for that, not any reason at all. You people are downright nasty, and you deserve anything that's coming to you as a result of all the video and the timelines that have been uncovered. Every single ounce of it.
We are committed.
Now, this is Blake commenting for a second on the Spark token airdrop.
We are committed to making sure that all clients who were on the platform with XRP receive their Spark. I know dates have been changed. And then there's almost like a vesting period that they get released. So I can't speak to all the specifics other than iTrust is committed to making sure that as they come out or as they're released from Flare, that clients receive their appropriate Spark tokens.
All right.
We are committed.
So just wanted to give you that. Now, XRP Bart sent me this. Breaking, the SEC has rejected Fidelity's application for a Bitcoin ETF, citing tether fraud and market manipulation as reasons why. Tom Emmer says another day, another baseless rejection of a Bitcoin spot ETF. And then he goes on, House Democrats introduced legislation that would give the Secretary of the Treasury dictatorial level power to prohibit any transactions they deem concerning without due process. This leaves the American people powerless to hold Secretary Janet Yellen accountable. And then the Blockchain Association, Kristen Smith, comments on the same. What they're commenting on is the Jerry Brito tweet thread from yesterday, what's his name? Well, every time I can bring his name up, I do because he deserves it. Jim Himes, that's the guy, Connecticut congressman who needs to be voted out. And don't worry, I'll show you a picture in a minute. Kristen Smith says the America Competes Act aims to help America better compete with China and lead the world in innovation. Unfortunately, the bill also includes, because it was slipped in by Jim Himes, the bill also includes provisions that strays from this goal and instead strips away an important and necessary due process requirement attached to a Patriot Act procedure for restricting financial transactions to foreign entities primarily engaged in money laundering. So the Blockchain Association is angry too. Well, this is the man you can all thank. We're not going to forget him. Don't forget this man, Jim Himes, when you vote Connecticut. He's the one that tried to slip this anti-provision crypto in. Add him to the Gensler Web Procoin News. Vote them all out. Get a good look. This is the guy who needs to be voted out. Jim Himes, Democrat for Congress, Connecticut. Okay? This is the guy. All right? Needs to go. Let me tell you why else he needs to go. Charles Hoskinson said it in a video.
Let's talk about the latest monster of the week. This is brought to you by Representative Jim Himes. Okay. So Jerry Brito threw up the flag today on Twitter. He says, because Treasury is required under current law to notify the public, seek public input. He's talking about Bill. Had the wrong tweet. Hang on a second. Yeah, go back up to the top here. So I just retweeted this. Important, included in the America Competes Act, or doesn't compete, just introduced in the House and will likely very likely pass in some form, as a provision that would be disastrous, not just for cryptocurrency, but for privacy and due process in general. So let's read the blog post about this. Title is, New Bill Would Hand Treasury Blank Check to Ban Crypto at Exchanges. And not just crypto. Provision in the America Competes Act would allow Treasury to secretly prohibit any kind of transaction it deems a concern without any public notice or input. So those who understand the Bank Secrecy Act, it gave the Treasury Secretary very significant powers called special measures. And it's mentioned here. So it says, another must-pass bill, another rush policy that severely damages the privacy and constitutional rights of cryptocurrency users. We've just seen language in the America Competes Act of 2022, see page 1482, a bill ostensibly about economic competitiveness with China that would strip all administrative procedures and safeguards from the imposition of the so-called special measures prohibitions in the Bank Secrecy Act, while simultaneously expanding authority for such prohibitions to cryptocurrency activities. In brief, it would hand the Treasury Secretary unchecked discretion to forbid financial institutions, including cryptocurrency exchanges, from offering their customers access to cryptocurrency networks. Okay, so basically, BSA gives the Treasury Secretary a power to say, hey, there's something here that we're concerned about. And he can temporarily ban it for up to 120 days. And at that point, he needs a public hearing, a public inquiry to go through the process of formalizing that special concern. Basically, what happened is this guy decided last year to sneak this into the National Defense Authorization Act. It failed, got removed from the bill because people realized how damaging it would be to hand one bureaucrat who's unelected unilateral authority to ban any financial transaction in the United States with no public hearing. Right? We'd like to believe that that's probably a good idea in a checks and balance government. So this congressman decided to take that exact same language that was stripped out of the old NDAA bill that couldn't get passed and put it into America Competes right here. And if this is passing, it would give Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, the unilateral authority to indefinitely ban all cryptocurrencies in the United States with no public hearing, no checks and balances, no say. Just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and say, you know, that crypto stuff is real bad. Let's just get rid of it. And we're just going to hand it in a bill, apparently, that's trying to be passed as part of this broader agenda to compete with China by destroying a $2 trillion part of our economy. You can't even make this shit up anymore. You know, I was very diplomatic with the infrastructure bill. We called senators. We said, hey, let's get around. And then we got Shelby'd. Now they're just throwing it in there. And why would Jim do this? Well, you know, here's his Wikipedia page for what that's worth. Let's look through. He went to Harvard. Okay. Yeah, he spent some time in Lima. All right, there we go. Went to Oxford. Oh, that's good. Oh, here we go. 1995, Haynes began working at Goldman Sachs as a banker in Latin America, New York, and eventually promoted to vice president. He's part of the vampire squid.
Yep. And guess what we have on video that we know for a fact? The two banks that were at Ethereum from the very beginning, that would be Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. And who right now does not really need regulatory clarity? Bitcoin and Ethereum. These people are sick. It is awful what's going on. Mr. Intuitive, who is the official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel, sent me this. Soros Fund Management and the Winklevoss twins venture capital firm are among investors in an NFT and metaverse firm valued at $5 billion. And I said, well, that's one firm Gary Gensler won't be going after. Maybe that's what he was on the phone with George Soros to talk about. Remember when we showed you Gary Gensler's calendar? And it had George Soros. He's talking on the phone with George Soros for like 30 minutes. All right, Ripple, things could be changing. Ripple is changing their Twitter handle picture right here. And then they tweeted this out. Using on-demand liquidity, this company, PayPal, it's your money, is bringing instant cost-effective remittances to the Middle East while also eliminating costly pre-funding of cross-border payments. Find out how this has helped their customers in the region grow and scale. And then XRP, the Standard Productions, finds another calendar entry. Look at the 11:30 spot, official calendar of Gary Gensler last October 1st. 11:30, October 1st, 2021, meeting with Joseph Lubin to discuss implementing more delays in Ripple lawsuit to give consensus more time for the development of Ethereum 2.0. This is the smoking gun, folks. Actually, I'm kidding. Because look down here, he says, happy unicorn podcast taping with Vitalik Buterin. Application of 3 or more pins to the growing of Brad Garlinghouse voodoo doll. Preparation to entire regeneration chamber to replenish the life force. Lunch with George Soros. This guy's a trip. If you haven't guessed by now, XRP, the Standards Productions, is pure parody, but it is some great and hilarious parody. Go give him a follow at XRP_productions. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family to go and check out. Let's see if it's up there yet. Ripple, it's still fully subscribed. Any minute now, they're supposed to have shares, I think. Unless I heard that video wrong. Thanks for listening.